Hi, Michelle. Good to see you too. G'day, investigators. It's Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy with this week's private, government and corporate investigator weekly news. Well, we've got a very big program to get through today. Some really sad stuff and some really enjoyable stuff. I think you're going to really enjoy the enjoyable stuff. So thanks, Michelle. Really nice of you to check in on the comments there. I hope you enjoy the program. So, people, what have we got to look at this week? And Mimi said hi. G'day, Mimi. And Renee, g'day, Renee. Good to see you. Sorry I couldn't catch up with you this week, Renee. We just got ahead of ourselves too much. We'll be talking next week about our Investigation Industry Association with Renee. And I do apologise to Renee. We just got busy this week. Okay, people. So starting off, nice, bright and early, got to get them out of the way quickly. There's a whole stack of jobs. I can't get all the jobs up. There's just too many of them. Brookside are looking for a general insurance investigator down in Melbourne. So great opportunity there with Brookside. You're going to be investigating stolen motor vehicles, home arsons, home burglaries, accidents in the home, maybe public liability accidents like dog bites, that sort of thing. Really great work in general insurance. You get a lot of fraud in it, so it's good fun. Hang on. And Scott, g'day, Scott. It's nice to see you, buddy. Just having trouble working my system here. I'll go back to where I'm supposed to be. WorkSafe in Queensland, what an investigations officer. So you'll be doing workers' compensation claims internally with WorkSafe. What a great role. And Mimi says, how do I get a private investigator's licence in Sydney, New South Wales? That's really easy, Mimi. You just ring up the New South Wales Police, CAPI, C-A-P-I, Google them on their website, give them $150, and in 6 weeks' time, you'll be licensed after you fill out the form. So really easy in New South Wales. Hope that's answered your question. Okay. A real struggle here. Yeah, so great opportunity for a government investigator at WorkCover Queensland. You'll need a certificate in government investigation for that one. Department of Customer Service in New South Wales is after a building investigator. So you can see these coming up all the time on here with building investigators down in Victoria at the Building Authority and in Queensland and New South Wales. So great opportunity there to get that job down in New South Wales with the customer service people. Now, news this week that the New South Wales Police didn't want you to know is this one. A Teflon-coated police officer has raped a lady police officer in New South Wales. So he's been deemed free to go and do this. He hasn't been charged with anything. He's got off scot-free. The lady is a lawyer, 10 years experience with the New South Wales Police. That's a picture of her there. This came out in the news in the Sydney Morning Herald this week. I interview a lot of lady police officers. Over the last 20 years, I've interviewed hundreds of them, and they know how to investigate. Now, this one was a lawyer working in the law, in some kind of law role. They're highly qualified lawyer, very experienced lawyer. She made the mistake of going out for one evening when someone was leaving the police and going to a pub where all the police were celebrating that person's career, and they started drinking at 12 o'clock. She arrived at the pub at 5 o'clock. She left around about 8:30, and she had a few drinks. She doesn't normally drink, and later that time, she was raped that evening. She rang up and reported it to her superior officer the next day. Now, last week, we looked at how could I put it? We looked at hearsay evidence. Now, a first-person sexual complaint is hearsay. So the officer that received that complaint was the first person to be notified about the incident, a sexual assault incident. This can happen to you in your workplace. It's happened to me. I had a person come to me. They trusted me. It happened many years beforehand, and I was the first person they ever told about it. So you as a manager in a government department or your workplace or where you work, you better know that this can happen and you can be the first person informed. And there's going to be a process or a policy or a procedure if you're a government department for you to follow if this happens to you. Now, she's reported that matter the next morning at approximately 10:30. She woke up At home, she had grass in her hair and her clothing had soil on it and grass, that sort of thing. And she reported the matter to her superior officer. Now, when you do this in the workplace, if you're sexually assaulted in your workplace or you have some kind of grievance or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. There's two viewpoints. There is the complainants or the claimants, whatever you like to call them, depending on what you're doing. If it's an insurance matter, it'll be a claimant. Their view is, I have been harmed. The workplace will look after me. That's their view. Is that right? You bet it is. It better be, right? It might not be right in other countries, but where we live, that's what their view is. Now, the workplace has a completely different view. The workplace's view is, okay, if you have been harmed, where is the evidence? So this is hearsay evidence reported to the superior officer who was respected by the complainant. Then, probably not now. Yeah, that's I'll come back to that later. Okay, so she's reported it and it goes into a process and a policy and procedure. Two internal investigators had to go and speak to her and take a statement off her. Now, they did. Of course, they were blokes, naturally. So they went around and took statements from her. She attended a medical examination, and that was very invasive, and she went through all that. They took her clothes away. And for some time after this, there was backwards and forwards between psychologists and assistants and getting back to work plans and being allocated work and stuff like that. Now, she then put in a workers' compensation statutory claim. That's what you do. She couldn't go to work. She was too upset. Nothing happened to the police officer who's Teflon coated, who assaulted her, wasn't charged with anything. Remember her view? I have been harmed. The workplace will look after me. The workplace's view? Well, if you've been harmed, where's the evidence? Well, they came and took that off her. They had her medically examined to get it. So her story is she doesn't drink a lot. She went to this pub and people were buying her glasses of white wine and she drank them. She was digitally raped in the pub with all these people at this party at the pub. Then she was taken to a second location in a park and physically raped there. It's not a very happy event, this one, is it? No. So she's put all that in. And they've said, all right, okay, take some time off work, whatever. And they helped her through that process and psychologists and medication, that sort of thing. And they said, all right, now you can come back to work on the same floor with the person who was the perpetrator of the crime against her, who got off free. Internal Affairs did nothing. Nothing to male Internal Affairs investigators. She said, I can't do that. So they said, all right, well, we'll put you in another branch. So they put her in another branch and she was very unhappy there because she's a lawyer. She did law things for the New South Wales Police. They had her filling out documents and designing documents. Now, of course, she's got all this going through her head now is, I've been iced out. I haven't been supported. I've been harmed. They've let the guy go free. Imagine your mental state yourself if that had happened to you. Now it's happened to her. And imagine the next young lady police officer it happens to. And the next one after that. Now what about the ones that it happened to previously? How did the guy do it? Why did he do it? Why did he get away with it? So you think about it, I've done quite a few of these types of investigations in workers' compensation and everybody's at the pub and the victims there going, oh, what a great time. And someone goes, hey, look at that naked guy over there. And they look away and then suddenly, in your drink, there's a whole lot of little disappearing tablets gone in there. You're carried out of the building over someone's shoulder. None of these witnesses who are police saw it. Excuse me. And Basically, that's when they do the dirty deed. So, was she drunk? Was she drugged? Hey, Scotty, good to see you, buddy. What did Internal Affairs find out? Why didn't they charge the guy? This is in the news this week. Now, it's a workers' compensation statutory claim. And if you do nothing else this weekend, people, have a look at it for yourself. There it is. It's on the internet, available for you to go and look at how the workers' compensation statutory claim panned out, how the court saw it, how she was denied any compensation because it didn't happen at work. It wasn't work-related. It happened in a pub and it happened in a park. Her claim is denied, and there's a lot of argument about it. And boy, do they dig up some dirt on her in relation to past medical matters that are her own private business, and a couple of other minor things that they're trying to say is dirt. So you, as a workers' compensation investigator, are going to investigate this in the police, the federal police, the Defence Force, the Education Department. These are very, very tight organisations. I don't think you're going to get a tighter one here than our Teflon police officer in this matter. So have a look at it. You're going to do these types of matters. Now, what Pat Flynn, the Chief Instructor Assessor for the Australian Security Academy, says to everybody in his opening comments when he takes a class is, you have to investigate everything as if it's a serious matter that's going to go beyond reasonable doubt. Because a civil investigation, insurance workers' compensation, can escalate to a criminal investigation, in this case, rape. So you are at the beginning point of it. Now, I said I interview a lot of lady police officers. And I say to them, when you investigate those sort of things internally, what do you do? And they go, oh, well, first of all, we look at the graduation ceremony from the police academy. I said, why did you do that? They go, well, we look for any police officers that were tranquilised that night and raped that night afterwards. Well, there's a beginning history to start with. What else do you do? I say to them. And they go, oh, well, in this case, it's Parramatta. The evidence log there in Parramatta would be Nazi. Nobody would get into that evidence room or out of that evidence room or touch a piece of evidence if it wasn't logged in or logged out of the evidence room. Too late for the police to cover it up and change it now. It's not going to happen. So that evidence log will say, well, someone went in down to found an evidence bag, and in that evidence bag, there was supposed to be 54 of these tranquilizers. But when we opened it up and checked, there was only 30 there. So you can spike people's drinks with stuff from what you've got at your workplace. Did anyone go and check the evidence log? I don't know. So these are the things that they're going to look at when this matter goes to the next level of workers' compensation. So keep in mind, people, you might be doing a civil investigation. It can escalate to a criminal investigation, and you are right there at the start of it. Your motto going forward is believe nothing, check everything. All right. So that's what you've got to do. You assume nothing, believe nothing, and you check everything. Okay. These people who you are going out to interview, yes, they're going to be smiling at you. They're going to be helpful, but you're going to have to think widely and look for evidence. In this case, don't know where it went, what they did with it, but that lady's got a serious claim moving forward. Had a question this week about industry associations. Got to try and cheer everybody up again. I'll be back to answer that in a minute. But let's have a look at what happened with our first giveaway contest this week when Howard answered 3 questions on Facebook correctly, and he gets to spin our new Spy Curious Wheel. Howard, welcome to the program.
Hello, Mike.
Mate, you're our first contestant on our Spy Curious Spin the Wheel. What were you looking at winning today, mate?
Oh, I wouldn't mind getting a coffee cup. That'd be lovely.
Okay, well, we'll give it a spin and let's see what happens. Mate, you won the coffee mug.
Excellent. Love a good coffee.
That's beginner's luck, mate. Let's have a look at
Thanks,
what you
Mike.
won. There it is. Look at that. You got your own surveillance coffee mug. Fantastic. Howard, you are a licensed private investigator that conducts surveillance, aren't you?
Yes, I have been for the last 3 years.
Have you enjoyed it?
Love the job. It's very interesting to be able to travel and really enjoy what I do.
Good on you, mate. If you could give 3 top tips to emerging surveillance operatives in Australia, what would they be?
Read your client's instructions very carefully, check all your videos, and always have a good cover story that's plausible.
You won't get better advice than that for surveillance. Thanks very much for being on the program, Howard.
Not a problem. Thanks, Mike.
Howard was a winner of the surveillance coffee mug. Well done, mate. Hey, well done, Howard. Pretty good, mate. That's our Spin the Wheel contest. All you have to do is contact me, Michael Evans, at riskoz.com and answer the 3 questions that you see in the Facebook stream of where you've been watching from, and you could be on Spin the Wheel. You could win an Assume Nothing car key holder. You could win a, like Howard just did, private investigator mug. We have private investigator spy bottle openers, and the best one of the lot, this one, which is our private investigator evidence bag. It's made of 100% cotton, so blood washes out in cold water. It's very versatile. It holds all types of evidence, like weapons and dangerous looking things like this. And hang on, I think I've got a knife down here. Yeah, really mean looking knife. That one, you can fit that in your evidence bag. And you can also keep a whole stack. Oh, there's some drugs and some hostage tape. All that fits in your evidence bag. Now, what's really good is you can take your evidence bag to the beach, stick it there, and that will clear the beach so everybody will get away from you. You can bring out your drink, your cold drink container, and if you put a sign on it that says blood type AB and drink from it, that'll clear an even bigger space around you for the beach. So you'll have all that room on the beach to social distance from and enjoy. So make sure, people, get in touch with me, get on here on Spy Curious, and you could be part of the wheel and win one of our great prizes. What a great evidence bag. What a great idea. Every spy's got to have one. So, other jobs this week, the Australian Border Force Protection is recruiting. That's a government job. So if you Google Australian Border Force Protection, they're recruiting. Down in Tasmania, they're looking for biosecurity inspectors. They have several positions down there. In fact, 15 in all. So there's 9 here, as you can see there in, where's that one? Launceston. This one has in Devonport, they've got 5 there, and down in Hobart, they've got 5 positions down there. So biosecurity in Tasmania, very seriously. People are always trying to smuggle drugs, dope, and fruit fly in there. So get in touch. Look for those jobs on our Facebook page. If you go to our Facebook page, this is where you'll see it. Just Google Australian Private Investigator Corporate and Government Investigation Jobs on Facebook. And you've got to answer 2 questions, and you'll see up to 3 years of historical jobs plus all those jobs from this week if you go to that Facebook page. So if you want to be a private investigator and see what jobs they have and how much they're paying, you can go there and have a look at it. If you want to be a government investigator at state or federal level, you can go and have a look at that too. So investigation industry associations, I was asked this week which investigation industry association you should join. Now, everyone who's a student of the Australian Security Academy is automatically a member of the Academy of Investigation Risk and Loss Adjusting Professionals. You're a student member, you can get your badge, just contact me and I'll organise that badge. And when you graduate, you just become a member. So you can be a member, and we have people that are associate members, and we have people that are honorary members, and we have people that are life members. So that association has been sort of going on for quite a while now. And next week, Renee, who's our Executive Vice President, and myself will be here talking about that and our membership and what's so important about it. I'm a member of 4 different industry associations. So in as much as I like to network a lot, you don't have to be a member of 4 industry associations. The reason you join an industry association is they have a code of conduct and you stand by that code of conduct, and clients and employers like that. So that's another reason to engage you as a private investigator. If you're not a member of an industry association, then they might say, why? Why don't they want you? Don't you fit their standards of behaviour or work, that sort of thing. So you're automatically a member of AirLab. So what my advice to you at the moment in COVID times is take advantage of that one and just stay with that one at the moment. I'm going to invite a couple of the others to come and talk on this program, and they'll tell you about their industry association. If they want new members, they will do that. If they don't want new members, they will say no. And that will be even more proof that you need to be a member of this one, because it's more interested in having members and moving forward, even in times where you can't have meetings. Every Friday, we meet here on this channel in relation to it. Now, big news this week in the auto theft industry is the Insurance Council of Australia have withdrawn $1.5 million of annual funding for the auto theft industry organisation that shares information around Australia about auto theft. So back in 2000, we were having vehicles stolen at a rate of 1 every 4 minutes. Now we're having vehicles stolen at the rate of 1 every 11 minutes. So there are less vehicles being stolen today. A lot of the reasons for that are they're harder to steal. Right? You have to steal the keys to steal a vehicle today or tow it away, that sort of thing. Back 20 years ago, there was a lot of cars in Holdens and Fords. You could just start with a worn down key and you just take off in those and off you go. A lot of them weren't even insured. They wouldn't have been in the figures. But the Auto Theft Industry Association has been shut down through lack of funding from the Insurance Council of Australia. So this is really good news for you as an investigator. It means you saw that job from Brookside before. They are going to be overloaded with work at Brookside now in relation to stolen motor vehicles. Now, most of the stolen motor vehicles today are high-end motor vehicles. They're stolen to order. They're never recovered. So Brookside are going to be, they're going to be investigating stolen BMWs, stolen Teslas, stolen any car you can think of that's pretty U-Butte and pretty expensive. Brookside are going to have more work than ever doing the investigations into that. Now, the thing with these cars, when they're stolen, they're high-end ones, they pull them apart or they just stick them in containers and ship them overseas. Now, there is no law against shipping overseas a stolen motor vehicle. You can't ship overseas Aboriginal artefacts. You can't ship overseas Australian wildlife, but you can ship overseas freely and without fear of any kind of repercussions from the law, a stolen motor vehicle or stolen motor vehicle parts. So there's not going to be any less stolen motor vehicles. Now, the really interesting thing I want you to understand as an investigation employer or the owner of an investigation business now is the Insurance Council of Australia is pulling of that funding. Means you are going to have more work. There's going to be less involvement by the police. I mean, the police have got COVID-19 stuff to enforce and do. They've got to put resources into that. They've got domestic violence to do and terrorism to do. They're not going to be interested in a soft, insured motor vehicle that's stolen anymore, like they were when they got funding and assistance with it through the Insurance Council of Australia. So this is a massive opportunity for investigation business owners to get into general insurance and take advantage. Now, I just told you that there are less vehicles stolen. Okay, I think there was only some 24,000 vehicles stolen last year, 1 every 11 minutes, but they're still going to be investigated if they're high-end vehicles, if they're high-end vehicles and they are insured. Now, we've just had a question. Can I have a free evidence bag? LOL. Yeah, you can. You've just got to do what you saw Howard do before, okay? Or you should do what Maddy did. Let's have a look at what did Maddy do. I think Maddy wanted a bottle opener from memory. Let's see if Maddy won a bottle opener. Good afternoon, Maddy. It's great to see you. How are you today?
Hi, Mike. I'm awesome. How are you?
Very well, thank you. You answered the 3 questions correctly, so you're on our Spy Curious Spin the Wheel. What was it you were hoping to win today?
I really need another bottle opener, so I hope that I win that.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get straight into it and see what we can do. I think it's the day of the coffee mugs today, Maddy. Bad luck.
That's all good. I want to fit in, so we've got a coffee mug here.
All right, well, they'll be on the way to you early next week. So congratulations on winning that. Now, before you go, everybody that comes into private investigations usually brings some really good skills with them. And yours are in a specialist field. What's that?
So I'm working with a company that deals with outplacement. So people who have been made redundant and need support with, resumes, career coaching and things like that.
Fantastic. So you have some really good customer skills in relation to all that, but you have some inside knowledge with the work you do and the people you support on how to get past artificial intelligence in job applications. Could you give us your 3 top tips for that, Maddy?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you do write a resume and a cover letter and you want to apply for a job, there's artificial intelligence, obviously, that quite often will receive your documents. Hirers, small, medium businesses now are using artificial intelligence. So to increase your chances of getting through those systems, my 3 top tips would be, firstly, to make sure you use an ATS compliant template. So if you do a resume that has lots of text boxes, you've got information in headers and footers, that ATS won't read that information. You could be perfect for the job, but if it can't read what you've got there, you'll be eliminated. So you could be eliminated in the first round before a hirer has even seen that. Another tip would be to make sure you've got the right keywords. So with the job ad, you want to make sure that the exact words in that job ad are used throughout your document. So if it says investigator in the ad, you can't use investigating. You want to use investigator. So you've got to use the exact same keywords and make sure you use those throughout. There's a great tool called JobScan. It's jobscan.co. And you can run your documents through that and look at what the match is. If you get around an 80% match with keywords, soft skills, hard skills, then you've got triple your chances of getting to interview stage. So that's really important, and that's something we tell our clients. If you need help, get professional help. It's well worth it. I'm currently getting someone to work on my resume as well. So I just know it increases your chances to be able to sell yourself when you've got the right language throughout the documents. So yeah, they're my 3 top tips.
Thank you very much, Maddy. And you're going to be a licensed private investigator in Brisbane very soon.
Yes, very excited. Can't wait.
Yeah. Okay. And any employer looking for a very accomplished private investigator in Brisbane to help them out, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with Maddy. Maddy, thanks for dropping by. Congratulations on winning.
Thanks so much, Mike.
How good was that? Great advice there from Maddy. So if you are applying for work, particularly with those government investigation jobs, follow Maddy's advice. If you can't remember Maddy's advice, hit replay after you've watched this. Or go to the Australian Security Academy's YouTube channel and watch the replay tomorrow morning. 126,000 other people have, so you might as well do that too. I was asked a question, how many private investigators are there in New South Wales? I used to know this off by heart. I can't remember. I'd estimated around about 4,000 licensed investigators there currently, but I will try my best to check up on that and find out. So that's Maddy's advice. And Maddy won herself a PI coffee mug just like this. Good on you, Maddy. She missed out on the bottle opener that she really wanted. So yes, if you need to win your own private investigator evidence bag, and it's this season's must-have thing. Forget design a label. If you haven't got this private investigator evidence bag, okay, you really are missing out. It's just such a good bag. So other things that happened this week, Evan's a regular watcher of this show. We got up very early this morning. We watched this program. Now, this was all about cryptocurrency investigation and how they do it. It was a really, really interesting program. And the man went through how it all links up and comes back together and how he investigates and all that sort of thing. And people asked questions at the end and said, what's one of the problems you have with it? And he was saying that when you get in front of a 78-year-old magistrate and you try and explain all this, it can get a bit hard. So, yeah, we've all been there and done that. That was really good to see. And thanks, Evan, for giving me the heads up about that program. That was a great one. So, people, that's my 30 minutes for this week. I've gone overtime by 2 minutes. I do apologise. Thanks, Maddie. And thank you, Howard, for coming in. People, that's the end. We'll see you again next week. Hope you enjoyed it.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.
I'm exhausted. That was a big program today. See you next week, people.